Daniel, light of my life, will you marry me?
I'm Michelle Veintimilla, and I am an actress or entertainer. I sing, I dance, and I act. My parents were both born in Ecuador, and they immigrated here with their families. So I'm first generation born American. I grew up with like 35 cousins, and we all live on Long Island. So I grew up with them being my best friends, and I always romanticized like film in general. I grew up taking dance class, and then I ended up doing competitive dancing. But then when I was 15, I broke my foot and I couldn't dance anymore. But at the time, I had been dabbling in musical theater. I was like dancing in the ensemble of a lot of musicals. I kind of wanted to do more than just dancing and singing and like maybe acting. So then I started to take acting classes, and it was kind of second nature to be on stage. I never really had stage fright or anything like that. So it came pretty easily to me. And I actually had an agent and was auditioning for professional work all through middle school and high school. And I didn't get that much work. I think I only booked like a commercial or something like that. But my dad always says that it was all a part of his plan. Like he really wanted me to get the experience of auditioning when there was nothing at stake.
So yes, too much.
Auditions are kind of like job interviews, and you don't get every job interview you go on. And I would say, at least for me, like 98% of the auditions that I do, I don't get. So a big thing to overcome when entering the entertainment industry is not letting the rejection get to you, and not letting it define who you are or what you're capable of. I try to lead with myself first and foremost, and then there are things that you can change, like your hairstyle or what you're wearing or the kind of energy that you come into the room with. Those are all things that you can change pretty simply, and it'll really transform.
Why does my phone keep blowing up when I'm preparing to be gracious to give Daniel a second chance? What?
I had to learn to fit those caricatures in order to get work ultimately, or at least that's what I was told. They're like, if you want to work in this industry, then you have to fit the molds of what these people expect of you as a Latina. And I didn't always fit those molds. You know, I had to learn how to drop my voice and be very sensual, and I had to learn how to be like sassy, because that's what Latin people were always portrayed as, those stereotypes. But luckily, by the time I graduated, which was around 2014, there was a huge initiative to get diversity on the screen. And so I actually got really lucky, and I had a lot of opportunities to break out of that mold.
Okay.
Push the wick into the plastic explosive.
Okay.
Now get out the flame. You got about a minute and a half to get out of there once that fuse is lit. Spark it up.
It's lit.
Okay, great. Sorry. There's one more thing to do.
And I played Firefly, which was only like a year after I graduated from college. And it was so memorable because I had so many firsts on it. Like, it was the first time that I had to wear face prosthetics. It was the first time that I had like a supervillain suit fitted to me, and I had to fly to California to have like a perfect fitted supervillain suit, and that was really cool. And then I also had to handle actual fire on set and do a lot of my own stunts, and so I was sort of thrown into the deep end with that job. And that cast was so fun and they were lovely people, and it was just so cool to be a part of like a DC Universe show. By the time I got a little bit of work under my belt, I realized that I did have a platform and I had an obligation to represent my culture. And so then it just turned into having discussions with my agents about the kind of work that I wanted to do.
Everyone, my name is Vanessa Sanchez. I can cook, I have my own business, and as of this moment, I am officially single.
I just recently did a TV show called The Baker and the Beauty that had an entirely Latinx cast, and that's the first time that I actually ever played a Latina, and I was so happy to finally be able to do that and bring so much of my authentic self to the role. So I think there's something to be said about, yes, telling Latin stories so that there's a more honest representation of the full spectrum of who we are and what we represent and what we brought to this country. But then at the same time, we also want to get to the point where like we don't have to talk about that so explicitly all the time. And we like, yes, we're Latin, or yes, we're Black, or we're Asian. So moving towards a more inclusive, more fluid conversation of just being an American and what that means.